Good morning everyone, this is Sachit. It is good to see all of you again. How are you this morning? I hope you are good. Everyone, have you had breakfast already? Alright, if you have breakfast already, it is a good time for all of us to start the lesson for today. So today, the course book that we are using for our lesson is Writing Bright 3. You remember everyone, the main focus of this book is to give you tips and some sentence structure for you to write a basic sentence correctly. So our lesson today, we still focus on those structure that we have learned from the previous video. So class, do you remember what is the structure that we study from our unit 1? Very good. The structure that we study from our unit 1 is passive. So today's lesson we will continue to look at the passive structure again, but the main focus for today's lesson is some practice for you to apply what you have learned. And today we will look at the usage of by phrase. In passive, you remember we have the subject, we have the verb and the object the same as in active sentence, but they are a little bit different when we look at the actions. So now everyone, let's look at the example that I prepare on the whiteboard for all of you. John cooks food. Can you tell me, is this an active or passive sentence? From your background knowledge, you look at the structure of the sentence and you analyze the part of speech of this sentence. You immediately recognize that this is an active sentence. So now let me try to change this into passive sentence. Everyone, do you remember the 6 steps that we have learned previously on how you can change from active to passive? So now it is a good time for you to go back to those 6 steps and apply those steps into this sentence. So pause this video and try to change this into passive only 1 minute, because this is an easy sentence. Good, I think you already know how to change this and you can remember the 6 steps. Let's check the answer all together. So the first step that we can use to change from active to passive is to look for the subject, the verb and the object in our active sentence. So now let's see, John is a subject, cook is verb, and food here is an object, which means it receives action from the verb. Okay, so we analyze the part of speech of each word in our sentence. The second one, we need to change the object of our active sentence to become our new subject in our passive sentence. So here, food become the subject. Now, let's look at the verb. The next step, if we look at the verb, is it in past tense, in present tense, or in present continuous tense? So from your previous lesson, you already learned those tenses already, and you can tell that this sentence is written in present simple tense. Good, so now you know the tense, and in passive form we use be verb. So what be verb that we use with present simple? Am, is, or are. Very good. Food, so food is a singular subject, we use with is. Food is. And then the verb past participle of our main verb is cook. Now, should we include the subject? We know that food is cooked by who? By John. Very good. So let's look at our new passive sentence. Here is subject. Here are the verbs. And this is a phrase, by phrase. So now, food is cooked by John. In the active sentence, traditionally we said that the subject is the one who perform action in the sentence, right? But in our passive voice, the subject doesn't perform the actions, all right? So those who perform the actions still exist in the passive sentence, but not in the form of subject anymore. It changed into agents. We call it agent. Agent refers to someone that perform action. But this sentence doesn't express those action, right? The subject doesn't do those action. That's why we call it passive sentence. Everyone, from our previous lesson, I think you remember I said that by someone phrase here is optional. You can put in your passive sentence or you can omit that. It is depend on the context. If the agent is important for your topic, for your sentence, you should include in your passive sentence. So now, for the sake of practice, after you know this form and the agent of the passive sentence, it is the time for all of us to put what we have discussed in today's video into practice. You can try to do the exercise by yourself at home first before you continue to watch the video. And remember, everyone, in your book there are a lot of exercise, and I am not going to cover all of those. I just try to illustrate a few points. I just pick up a few sentences for demonstrations to help you do the other exercise. So here I have 4 sentences, but if you open your course book to page 13, to page 13 here, you can see there are a lot of more exercise for you to do. That is why I say you need to pay attention to how I do this exercise, so that it can help you do those exercise by yourself. So, everyone, if you want to try it, you can pause this video and do those exercise first, and after you finish, you can check the exercise. You can check the answer with me. I will try to do those exercise for you. But now, everyone, you can pause this video and try to do those exercise by yourself first. Okay, so far so good, everyone. All right, I hope you all have answer in your notebook, and it is the time for all of us to check the answer. And I would like to remind you that if you make some mistake when you do this exercise, don't worry, it is your first step. When you make a mistake, it is a good time that you try to ask yourself why I make this mistake, and try to find the correct answer for your next activities. Okay, very good. Let's start, everyone. The first one, millions of people visit the Sydney Opera House every year. So remember the 6 steps that we use to change from active to passive. The first one, we need to analyze what is subject, what is verb, and what is object of our original sentence. So let's start. Here, million of people, it is. Okay, very good. Subject. Visit is our main verb, and the Sydney Opera House is object. Again, object refer to the thing that receive action from the subject. So here, people visit what? Visit the Sydney Opera House every year. Now, everyone, we know the part of speech, the function of each word in our sentence. The next step, what should we do? We try to locate the object and change it into the subject of our new sentence. Oh, sorry. So the new subject here is the Sydney Opera House. Very good. We have the subject now. Now we need to to add the be verb. But how can you add be verb correctly? You need to analyze the tense used in this sentence. What tense is? Present simple, past simple, or present continuous? Sure, it is. It is present simple. So the be verb of the present simple is am, is, or are. It depending on the subject. But here, the Sydney Opera House, is it a singular noun or a plural noun? Sure, it is a singular noun. So the verb be that we need is the word is. Now we need to change our main verb into past participle. So the main verb here is visit. So we change it to visited. So the Sydney Opera House is visited. So we need an agent. So which one is an agent? So agent, everyone remember the subject of our active sentence, which means those who perform the actions. Very good. So those who perform the action, who visit the Sydney Opera House? Millions of people. So here we need to use the word by. Good. The second one, I hope you have some idea of how to do this exercise. So let's try the second one. After we finish the third one, you will be clear how to do it by yourself. It's very easy. Number 2, Pablo Picasso painted Guernica in 1937. Okay, it's very long time ago. So now, remember everyone, we analyze the function of each word here. So Pablo Picasso is the subject, painted is our main verb, and Guernica is the object. It receives the actions. Now let's try to change this into our passive sentence. So we start with the object. Okay, now we have the new subject already. Let's look at the tenses used here. What tense? Present simple or past simple? Clearly it is a past simple tense. So we need to add be verb for past simple. So what is the be verb for past simple? Was or were, right? It depending on our new subject here. So the new subject here is singular or plural? It is singular, right? So the be verb that we use with singular noun is was painted by, okay, the agent is Pablo So good. Okay, we have 2 more to go. Number 3, Victor Hugo wrote the novel Les Miserables, right? So let's start with the subject here, our main verb here, and this is the object. So we change the object to subject here. We start with the novel. Okay. Okay. So it is past simple. The novel were. The novel is only one. So use was written by Victor Hugo. Good. Okay, we have the last one, number 4, and I am not going to do this for you because this is your your job to do it by yourself, to practice what you have learned. And remember everyone, there are a lot of exercise that you can practice the point that you learned from this video today. And in your book on page 13 here, there are two main exercise. The first exercise, I have done three sentences for you, and you still have two more to do. And the second one is similar to this one, but you don't need to use by phrase, which means you don't need to include the agent in your passive sentence. Everyone, you can do it in your notebook here on page 13. And everyone, when you finish doing those exercise, take a picture and send it to your study group, so that you can get some feedback from your homeroom teacher for further improvement. And for today's lesson, I think you are catch up with the point, because we just review and touch upon the point that we have learned so far, to make sure that you understand clearly what we have discussed already. And this is come to the end of our video, and I hope to see all of you again in the next videos. Goodbye.